says I'm live. Let's see if I am. I'm a little early. I hope that's okay. Just wanted to get on here and believe I'm streaming. I don't know. Oh, there's ads for coffee meets. Cool. I see a lot of cool people here tonight, regardless of these ads not letting me know. Sorry, I'm a little early. Oh. Get on here and... Alright. I shouldn't have... Sorry. Oh, there's ads for... I should just mute it so I know what's going on. Hello, how is it going, everyone? Let me send out the things there. I want to say hello too. Oh man, we have a good crowd tonight. Good crowd tonight. What was I gonna say? Okay, sorry. We have first off a return person that used to be. Jim is trying. Used to be this guy. Jim is trying. I think he used to be the Mighty Jim, but he's back. Returned to the stream. Nice to see. That surprised me. But I want to say also thank you to Cornbread, Austin, Nathaniel Foggy, Blood Tea, Pup, Purple Goop, Pizza Cat Builds. Who's that? That's interesting. If I didn't say Cornbread again, William Ellman, and everybody. And Sinram. Sorry. I didn't think of that. I'm sorry, Sinram. Sorry. Oops. Well, just 00. Sorry. My bad. Sorry, Sinram. I'm sorry. Hello, K-Mouse. I apologize. I was just like, I'm ready, and I should have thought about it. But sorry, Zodberg. It's okay. That's for me. Hello, Zod. But anyway, I apologize. Sinram has been really helping during the timestamps. It's very much helps. Because after, I'm probably going to fall asleep on my couch or something. The ads on YouTube are getting a little out of control. I've noticed. They give you, like, a lot of them. But anyway, let me switch over to myself here. Hold on. Hello? Look at how colorful it is. Because it got... I hope it's all... Okay. Are we connected? Okay, we're good. There's, like, a disconnection moment earlier that... Oh! Hello! Bloxy Oxenwinkle said, it's no Paul Blart, but I'm glad for Markiplier. All right. Awesome. Happy for Mr. Markiplier. All right, let's say this is the energy drink. I haven't really done a energy drink guest thing, so I felt like only Cornbread was doing it. So no offense, Cornbread. But it is this C4 Hawaiian Punch. I feel like we've done it before. Oh, we got another one. Okay, let's do Black Sea first. This is, C4 Hawaiian Punch. Because it was on sale at the grocery store. That's how I roll. But, cheers to you, Black Sea. This is good. I can't believe it has 0 sugar. I wish... I'd love to get sponsored by one of these guys. That'd be amazing. I don't think I'm that big. Enough for that. Javier Partello says Paul Blart should be Disney CEO. That would be cool. He does have a movie coming out this week. So, cheers to you, Javier Partello. All right. It's going to be an interesting show. I think it's going to be like each of the thumbnail things will probably be longish type of things, or I guess Markiplier I'm including is hello Dan, how's it going? Hello Jordan Sloflo. That'll just be box office. I'll probably start with that one because that one's more fun. I thought like going into industry CEO talk starting off. Anyway, but yes, it's been a week, but I learned a thing. Okay, so here's the thing I learned, and I know no one's going to care about this, but I'm starting the show off with this. I don't care. So I've been with my son. I've been until you get him to go to sleep. I'll play whale sounds, right? And I was playing. This is true. I was playing like whale sounds on Spotify or whatever. And so most whale sounds I know have like the bubbles you hear and like it sounds like in the ocean and it's very calming and stuff. And we're doing that for a few days. And then I search on Spotify whale songs or whale sounds, And then I get there, and another playlist comes up. Like, I'll just hit the other playlist, you know what I mean? And I do, and there's a description like other whale sounds are doctored and edited to be calming, those aren't real whale sounds. These are real whale sounds. And I was like, oh, I never thought about how like relaxing whale sounds are, like the bubbles and all that are edited in there. I never thought about that. I just assumed they're underwater probably. And so then I learned what real whale sounds are, and they are not as relaxing because it'll be relaxing and then they'll go and like all these weird sounds. And I was like, I didn't know. I didn't know it was like I'd been lied to. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know if you guys knew that, but it was I learned about whale sounds songs. Hello, Medilla Butterfly this week. So now you know that if you hear relaxing whale sounds with like the bubble sounds and all that, that's all fake. They fake that. And you know what? I never thought about it. I was like, I guess sure, why not? I never thought about it, but now I've learned, and I heard the difference, and there is a difference. They're not as common. They don't just talk. They say some offensive things too. If you speak whale, I was like, holy shit, I better put this away. But betray whale. Anyway, it was interesting learning that. I just wanted to share that with people because I was like, holy shit, we've been lied to about whale songs this whole time. I didn't want to make a video about that because I don't know. Maybe there are a lot of videos about like the real auditory, but it's interesting. It's interesting. If you listen to real whale sounds, you're like, oh, this is like they're actual animals and stuff. Anyway, I'm a little like not in the. I'm okay, but I'm a little like feeling a bit of a cold, not a full cold, and I'm a little sore. So this is gonna be interesting. The other real recommendation is I saw Secret Mall Apartment, and that is a really good documentary. I want to rewatch it because I slept through a small part of it, but I watched most of it. But I do think I'm not gonna put out a review because I did fall asleep. But I kind of want to because it is a lot about like space and like how artists use space and like I think about that all the time because it's like this is a kitchen normally, and now I'm doing a stream in here and I film videos in here and how you know when you when you're making stuff or you're an artist or whatever, you need that space to make your stuff and how that space could take on new importance and you can utilize space and make things that matter and make things that are important and make things that represent something through just a small little space and I think Secret Mall Apartment is also that it's a cool thing. I do not have a letterbox account. I tried to do one and it's just like I don't like rating things and I'll this is my letterbox account. So I know people have made ones for me for the reviews and stuff, and that's very nice of them. But I just don't. I don't know. I kind of am interested in reading it, but I like never have done it. It's sort of like I think there's some things where like if I were to get into it, I would do, but I'm not really above it. I just already have a thing. I don't. Yeah, and also sometimes uh oh I'm sorry. I didn't know you used a stopwatch. Whoa, that's crazy soon. I apologize. I will try to start at 10:30 next time. Sorry, that was sort of just a hiccup. Uh, no, I am going to do best movies of the year. Actually, I am going to do best and worst this year. I am determined to figure that out soon. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like, there's also like sometimes I'll watch something and before working on something, and I don't want people to like ask me about it. So it's like I'm if I make a review, I want people to know. But sometimes like I don't. Part of it is actually that it's more just like I like to just have my shit and I tell like about the other shit and something like that. But anyway, I really do uh I like Secret Mall Apartment a lot, especially like what it means to be like someone who doesn't have the space to create and like use what little space you have to do that. So but anyway, I think that's all. Oh, and I started watching the um James Frank. It's like an old show, the Stephen King Kennedy time travel show, and that's interesting. I don't know. We've only watched one, but I was like, this is interesting. I don't know if I agree with like if Kennedy had not been shot. I think Vietnam still would have happened, but everyone's like, it wouldn't have been as bad. And I'm like, yeah, but you wouldn't like Kennedy as much, and RFK the same thing. I don't think people would like him as much. So I'm already like, I don't know about this show, but I'm sort of into it. It does like work within its own rules, but whatever. No, I probably should do something like that. I do sometimes make lists, and I've tried to be like Sonnenberg and make a list of stuff, but then it's like, oh well, I don't. So I just like don't. I have enough things to do. Let me just put it that way. So, but if you guys want to do that, you should do that. I'm not just if a normal person wants to do it, I do not discourage them. I'm like, do it, but I don't think it works for me personally. That's all. I don't think had if I didn't have this, I would probably have a letterbox and stuff like that. But anyway, I don't think there's anything else to. Oh, and yeah, 11, 22, 63. It's pretty good so far. It's very like kind of cut and dry and stuff, but not as fun, Franco. Sometimes he just is like in a thing, which is not. He used to like do crazy stuff, and that'd be more fun. Let me see. Before I fully start, oh, sorry, there were two cartoon reviews right in a row. That was honestly just because of timing and stuff. That probably won't happen again. I would like to do them every Monday because I like the program, and I like the last one more than the first one that I noticed more people were talking about. So, and then then 28 years later, Boneyard and the other one, and we're gonna do the Muppet Show tonight. I think it'll come out sometime this weekend, but it was a Super Bowl related thing. I'm not doing like a Bad Bunny remix because I only know two songs. I couldn't find a MIDI thing, and I didn't want to like find a song that I didn't know, and it's like I feel like this isn't. Anyway, so sorry, Bad Bunny. No MIDI remix for you this Super Bowl. I'm sure he's very disappointed. But I actually did try. I only know Vete and DTMF. Those are the only ones I know. And then I watched the video of the with the frog in it, whatever that is. That was fun. I thought about reviewing it, but I was like, I don't. It is fun, like the frog and Bad Bunny has a supporting role in the video, and then him and the frog and strippers are hanging out talking about life. I was like, that I thought that was kind of funny. I almost played that video for my kids until the stripper part. That was like, I don't think that's for the kiddos. Up until then, I'm like, hey, the frog's on his phone. I don't know. Anyway, all right. But I'm excited for his Super Bowl thing. I listened to the album and all that stuff. And I know Vete and the that album that Vete is from, but I don't really know him very well. So, but I'm excited. But yeah. But no, I was like, I don't really have enough to say, unfortunately. But I would like to know more. He sounds pretty cool. A lot of people just said it's just like music you have on or something. I don't know. I'm just hoping the Puppy Bowl has a bunny halftime show. I don't know if they do, but I feel like this is the year. Like, don't do a kitten one, do a bunny halftime show. It's so obvious. Like, please just do that. Like, I just think you're the Puppy Bowl. What are you doing? Anyway, all right. That was. I think we're caught up on everything. All right, let's. Sorry, this is silly. I never saw Happy Gilmore. I almost did a review of Happy Gilmore 1, and I realized I didn't like it. Was like rough, man. I don't know. Those Adam Sandler movies. I don't think the world needs me talking about those. Because the filmmaking is really bad. I was like, holy shit. Oh man, the Kid Rock thing. I don't know how he thinks that's cool because I saw But wait, I have a question about the Kid Rock thing. So I saw on, I don't know if it was Twitter or Blue Sky, they look, but they're at a video of him doing that song, and it's like all these like really old white people, and I was like, are they pre-recording his halftime show or is his halftime show live? Because I was like super lost on that one. Like, is he like doing a performance before his halftime show? Because I thought you're supposed to do it live. I thought if it's pre-taped, like what is that? I don't. Anyway, I'm pretty sure even In Living Color was live for a lot of it too. So it's like, I don't know. Anyway, is seventh grade? Yes, I would agree because that's how I saw Willie Allman. I agree. That's how I saw Happy Gilmore. I have better memories of Wedding Singer. I don't know if I've seen The Waterboy. I don't know. I was never a big fan as a kid. I'm more of a Punch Drunk Love person. So I don't know if the Adam Sandler cinema, as much as I'm like, oh, I should watch one. And Click. I enjoy the Click. Anyway. All right. This and blah, blah, blah. Let's start over. This and everything I do is spurred by you, the fans, either through Superchats during the show, or I'll drink this awesome Hawaiian Punch. The Hawaiian Punch Man's not on here. It's just a surfboard. When I was a kid, I should just do this part, but I'll just say, when I was a kid, you could never have Hawaiian Punch at a party because in the ads they'd go, "How about a Hawaiian Punch?" And he'd like punch the screen. But since we were like 5 and 6, we would just punch each other, and so people stopped having Hawaiian Punch because it was just like to like little kid this way. Good times. Anyway, all right. So this and everything I do is inspired by you, the fans, either through a super chat during the show, and I will read off your super chat. And oh my god, this thing is going. It shouldn't be. Sorry. I do that so I can get the ones right. I forgot. This is not a smooth read. Okay. So everything is inspired by you, the fans, read the super chat. Or you can sign up for my Patreon, which is linked below in the description. It's all sorts of cool stuff, like my commentary series, more Power in the Movie Review Vote. Those are coming out hopefully soon and or this weekend. You get postcards. You get the commentary stuff. Also, you can see my public access show and everything in the movie in the Patreon exclusive playlist, which you can only access through that. And all sorts of cool stuff like that, and it will help me to continue to do what I do. It's a wonderful way to help support the show if you are financially able to do so. If not, just liking and or subscribing, or you can do both those things, and turning on notifications. If you would like to have notifications, you can find out about the instant premieres that I do, as well as get the community posts about throwbacks, which I had Kung Fu Panda, Hail Caesar, something else. I forget. Oh, The Evil Dead. From previous reviews and all sorts of cool stuff like that. If you do so. But if you're just watching it and don't even have an account, which I remind you, there are people who do that. Thank you very much for watching. I very much appreciate it. And I hope you're doing good. All right. And also, were there 2 Adam Sandler movies here? I think it was always one. What year, Embla, since you have put out this claim, what year has had 2 Adam Sandler movies? I know Punch Drunk Love and 8 Crazy Nights came out, but those are technically not really Adam Sandler movies because one is animated, one is Paul Thomas Anderson. But anyway, I would like, maybe there was 3 that year. Tell me what years have multiple Adam Sandler movies. Since you've thrown this out, I would like to know. Anyway, also I have a great Discord, which is a wonderful community run by Cornbread, Austin, Zane Powers, and Ryan Walterson. They do a wonderful job. They do movie watches this week. I have no clue what they're doing this week, but it's a really good time. It's a wonderful community. They do movie discussions where I ask a lot of questions about Markiplier's Iron Lung, which I know a lot of people are really curious about, as well as artist self promo. There's the licensed playing card channel, which I will post these. I don't know how interested you guys are in that. Darkman. Okay, and then Cornbread does a thumbnail predictions. It's a really wonderful community. This is a really great fan base, and if you like everyone in the chat and you're like, these people seem cool, you can go and hang out there. And we do daily questions every day in general. And if you miss a daily question, want to answer, I notice people do that. That's totally cool. You can respond to it later. Just make sure you put the reply, or we'll all be confused. And I asked them what they want me to talk about, movie crap and all sorts of stuff like that. So it should be cool. Darkman, that's cool. Darkman, it was cool talking about Darkman last week. All right, so I'm going to start off with the box office, and in particular Markiplier, and then we'll move on to the other box office things. Because I don't want to do a box office thing and then come back to it. So we're starting with box office this time. So this week was probably, I know everyone's like, oh, January sucks. Fuck you, it's January. I don't think January sucks. I actually like January because interesting genre stuff can happen. And people's reviews will be kind of tempered. And I was, there's cool stuff. There's cool stuff every month, but I do feel like people are a little harsh on January. But this was an interesting one because we got a Sam Raimi movie. We got Iron Lung, which came out of nowhere because there's minimal advertising in the traditional sense. And then we got the Melania documentary, and each you could talk about in different ways. But I will talk about the Markiplier thing. He almost got to number 1. I believe it was. I look at these on my phone so that we don't have as much choppiness with the stream. Iron Lung made these are actuals at this point, 17.8. Send Help made 19 million. he even said on, I watched some clips and stuff that uh he did not expect to beat Send Help from a Sam Raimi movie, which is I was like, yeah, you shouldn't. But what's interesting about this movie is he mainly marketed it through his YouTube channel, and he self-distributed it. Because when I look on distributor on Box Office Mojo, it literally goes Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures for Send Help. Redditor goes Markiplier. It doesn't. That's all it says. It doesn't say what studio. It just says Markiplier, which I was like, that's interesting. And then right under it says Amazon MGM because Melania. Um, I thought this is a real. I'm planning on seeing Iron Lung. I think that is what he's doing is really cool. I actually like the idea that someone's like, I'm going to make a $3 million horror indie movie and release it in theaters, and that's how I'm going to use my YouTube fame. Is actually really cool because most of the time it's like, Mr. Beast-esque shenanigans, and you're like, look at this big thing, and like that. In my mind, that means nothing. Like whatever. But like this seems cool. I had no clue, and I noticed no coverage until I looked up Iron Lung entertainment wise has brought up that it's a video game adaptation. I thought he made that shit up. Like I don't understand what are you guys doing? Like it is hello Nanboxes for it's been a bit. It's based on a video game. He was not involved to my understanding. You guys can correct me. I know he's known for I had to look up more about him because all I knew about him before this is he's a very handsome gentleman and he wanted that zombie lady to step on him. I saw a lot of those clips randomly. That's all I know about this guy. I was like, and he had that channel that deleted itself. See, I know nothing. So I looked up some stuff and I know he's known for horror Let's Play. So it's interesting. He's sort of taken a horror game that he enjoyed and making it into a movie, um, uh, which I think is interesting. I think it's pretty cool. Hello, Daniel Rodriguez. But I went to a taping of Wheel of Fortune yesterday, Nanbox 64. That's really interesting. I hope it went well. Was Ryan C. Well, how is Vanna White? That's like, this really is going to sidetrack me. But is Vanna White just as nice in person? Cheers to you, Nanbox 64. That's cool. That's cool. Hello, Revoke. How's it going? And my understanding is just him in the sub, which is a really ballsy thing to do as a performer, because it's just you basically for most of the movie. And it was smart because I think he understood, if you're a filmmaker and you're releasing a movie to like people, you need a star. And he was like, wait, I'm kind of famous, so I'll put my. I'm sure he thought I don't. Oh, cool, Dan Buxy. I will be curious to check that out. Awesome, congratulations about it. But that's a hard thing to do. So I am curious how much he pulls it off and everything. But I do think this whole thing of the box office numbers weren't being reported and stuff, since he is a independent distributor, oftentimes um uh when you have an independent distributor, the reporting gets weird because what I think most likely happens, and I've heard this before, is most of the people, Hollywood Reporter, Box Office Mojo, Variety, whatever, have people they call, right, to get the numbers from. But if you have an independent source and they don't have that relationship with whoever runs the distributor that's being called just Markiplier, so it's probably a communication thing. I don't honestly think the industry is like one. It didn't seem like they cared that much, to be honest with you. It seemed like they're like, oh, this guy did this thing, that's cool, and the YouTube people like it a lot. But it seems like I hadn't clearly, because they weren't even mentioning the video game part. It seemed like they didn't. The level of giving a shit from industry people was kind of low. So I don't think they were trying to take him out of it. I think it was just a communication thing, to be honest. It got to be the best YouTuber film since the Red movie. Nice. But good for him. I think it's really cool, and I think we need kind of fresh talent and different things happening in movies in general. And I think that was a surprise. I did not understand anything about it, and I think it's also cool to do outside kind of advertising. It did feel like movie people were not as into it because he did that, and I think like possibly, what was that TikTok thing we talked about last April that used most of its marketing on TikTok, and that's how they blew up. I think we're gonna see more of that stuff, but I think what they're gonna have to do is understand you have like Demon Slayer, all that stuff got ways to have ads in traditional theaters and stuff. And I think like you do sort of need to do that because it did feel like no one outside of the YouTube and Twitch and all that was really that aware of what was going on. So I would criticize them at least for that, but it worked out, so I don't mind there. San Raimi's Send Help was number one, but that one I really heard no one talk about. Like, you know, you have a new Sam Raimi kind of horror movie. I've seen it, and you think there'd be more. Hey, Super Dusky, you think there'd be more talk of that, and there really was not as much, unfortunately, even though it was number one at 19 million. I have noticed with the Iron Lung, I have noticed on daily reporting for box office, it's just not in there at all. So I'm not sure. I don't think it's like the not yet, but soon. I will see Iron Lung, but I'm not sure if it was a reporting thing or whatever. So the other thing I guess is the Melania thing. My thing with this movie, I don't really want to see it. Is it for a documentary? It made $7 million. That is very good for a documentary. However, for a documentary that cost 75 million total, that was yes, Send Help is Sam Raimi. That was a disaster. But my thing with it is like I don't want to call it a box office bomb because no one is gonna hurt from this movie at all. Like no one, you know, it's not like Brett Ratner's already getting Rush Hour 4. Amazon is not going to notice it. I don't think the president or anybody involved is going to give a shit. I just don't believe this is going to become like usually if it's a bomb, you're like, oh, it's going to hurt them, you know, 2 years down the line. That's why they didn't get that role. This is like, I'm just like, I don't know, but it's like kind of, I don't know. I just am like, I don't think it's notable enough to be like a bomb. I'm just like, this was like a puff piece. Let's just, a lot of those conservative stuff, I'm like, if we have to pay attention to a lot of their shit, but like, this is some shit I could just ignore and I'm going to, and it doesn't seem like it really matters. Like, it's like, you know, but whatever. Willie Bowman said, time for a Iron Lung Shelby Oaks double bill. You know, I have a feeling Iron Lung might be better than Shelby Oaks. I think Shelby Oaks really should play with like atop the fourth wall. I'm gonna introduce to you Willie Owen. But like I'm not saying you should be politically unaware. I'm saying like they have enough stupid bullshit that I don't have to look at all their stupid bullshit. I can just pay attention to stupid bullshit I need to pay attention to. So just like whatever. But in actually interesting news, also, this is another thing. This is also why you hear nothing about Send Help because like so many other things took the thing from it. Zootopia 2 in fourth place went up 11% in its what is this 10th week of release. It is at $409 million in America. That it went up 11% is crazy. Avatar actually only went down 11%, which is also still really good. That doesn't really happen in its seventh week of release at 386. Avatar 3 is doing well, and it's at 1.4, but it's just billion worldwide, whereas Zootopia is at 1.8 billion. They're both doing extremely well. It just, you know, everyone expects Avatar movies to do even better than it's doing, although it's doing well. But it is interesting both those films had, you know, an 11% up thing at this point for Zootopia 2 is crazy. I'm curious if we can hold that with Goat and Hoppers coming out. I feel like it's going to fall off at that point, but since there's no other, what other family thing is in here in the top 10? That's it. I mean, no families are running out to Marty Supreme, but and even The Housemaid only went down 12% because that's the other big movie that's doing very well. And I think that, you know, Marty Supreme is sort of limping towards the 100 million that A24 wants from it, but it's still at 90. And The Bone Temple is sinking like a stone, unfortunately. But they're still saying they're going to make a third one, so that's, you know. And in good box office news, I always like to say what's going on with the box office overall. This is the highest grossing January since 2020. And that was a pre-lockdown 2020. I remind you, lockdown happened in March. This is 2020. Um, January 2020 was like a different 2020, with Doolittle and all that stuff. But yeah, apparently we just outperformed that 2020, which is really good news, actually. Good news for this year. Since we're now suddenly coming over the pandemic era. I can't believe they're making Heat 2 either. It's kind of weird. I need to, yeah, I'll review. But anyway. All right. We're going to move on from the box office part. And then we will talk about uh, the Disney CEO thing, which is interesting. I know everyone's like, oh, you should talk about this, but I'm a little worried the industry nonsense of it all. But it is a big deal. So Josh D'Amaro has been named the new CEO of Disney. He was a parks and games guy. He was instrumental in getting the Disney Fortnite deal. I see that. I know. Sorry. Um, uh, which is one of the reasons they like him. He's not against. Oh, I didn't notice the Oldsmobile thing. Hey, Gary, how's it going? He was a parks guy, and he's very beloved in the parks. Like people who like the Disney parks take selfies with him and stuff, which I find really weird. But that's Disney adults for you guys. And they uh, hmm. But yes, they, you know, what if I take that off? Does that help? Um, does it help? I don't know if it does. Oh, damn it. But yes, he was a parks guy. He was known for the parks, and their main reason they want to do the parks people is because the parks made about are $10 billion of revenue every year, and that is instrumental for Disney. Basically, it's more important than the movies and TV and stuff, which Dana Walden, who is the other kind of successor for that, was known for. Um, no, it's not just you. But they very much love this guy because he ran the he sorry he was basically running stuff when the during the pandemic, and they very much it's in the first 20 minutes. Thank you. They very much like him. He's also just been running things very well, and since he was able to handle the post-pandemic era, also he he's pro AI, which the Disney board actually likes. They're always like, oh, our creatives have done so many things, and the strides they had made with AI is what he keeps saying there. The person people thought would get it is Dana Walden, who you've probably heard her name before. If you notice, Disney basically just has white dudes, basically has always had white dudes as CEO. Dana Walden probably makes more sense, and they could have had their first female CEO, but since Disney is moving more towards a theme park, um what are they called, the the big ship thing, cruise line nonsense, and that seems to be the more cornerstone of their business. They wanted someone who knows the business side of what they're really doing, although they have admitted they need to get more franchises for some reason. Uh they which I noticed, like the press has now been very much like, why don't you have anime, why aren't you doing more adult animation? And Disney has been criticized for that a lot more recently. I know, like, since I've been doing like POS podcasts and stuff, people have been asking me that question, and I don't work for Disney or anything, but it's a question like, hey, Disney has all this infrastructure, why aren't they making things for adults? And despite that, like, they have anime on Hulu or stuff like that, they're not, and I expect that's going to come up more. But Dana Walden was brought on. She's the kind of chief content officer, and she's in charge of all the movies and TV, whereas Josh D'Amaro is the CEO. The interesting thing is, although Dana Walden is not the CEO, she's actually getting paid more upfront than Josh D'Amaro. This is partly because there were rumors that she would bounce to another thing. There aren't many jobs she can really take at the level she is at. And one of them was potentially Prime Video is the rumor, but she could have probably gone to Netflix. She could have gone to Paramount. She could have gone anywhere she wanted. But Disney didn't want Dana Walden to leave, so they're paying her more than the CEO, and her bonuses are more. So she actually is getting paid more than the CEO just because they did not want to leave her. Even though it's like, I understand why they did Josh tomorrow because that is what the business is now. But at the same time, like Dana Walden, um, I think if it was more of a, content as it's called, or movie and film and TV company, she would be the CEO. But because uh, movies and TV are not making $10 billion a year, they're not going to do that. So it's kind of that's kind of what it is. There's a lot of talk of splitting Disney into two companies, much like Warner's did, where they take the linear TV stuff and make it its own thing, and then everything else, like movies, streaming, all that, like Warner's did. And so they have rise their stock price because the stock price is down. Actually, Bob Iger goes out in March. I'm not sure if you guys are into this. I'm sorry. Um, but they are trying to reprioritize Disney Plus, and Josh Tomorrow's already talking about doing more tech stuff since he's known for his Fortnite deal. I would expect they actually buy. There's talk they could buy Epic Games. There's always been this Disney Nintendo thing. I just don't think that's ever happening at this point. They're too tied to Universal. It's not happening, and I don't think Nintendo wants to be bought. But I do think they'll try to make a big acquisition because Iger's big acquisition when he started was Pixar, and then he just kept acquiring shit throughout his entire run. But we'll see what Tomorrow's gonna do. I think he both are more into the Muppets. Iger was never into the Muppets, so I know we'll talk about the Muppet Show, but the future for Muppet stuff is better. Um, but right now, it just doesn't seem more goofy razzle dazzle. I mean, there's not. Sorry, this is kind of a boring one, but yeah, I wish the movies and stuff were more of a thing. I know the I don't know. It is depressing to hear that Disney is so into these cruise lines because I think cruise that sounds like a horror movie to me. Getting stuck on a boat, like yeesh, I just that sounds horrible. And also like people like a lot of fucked up stuff happens on cruise. I'm just like no, I'm not into that. Like I don't want to be falling off the boat and Goofy's laughing at me. But yeah, it's I don't know. It is sad that it's just a theme park cruise business, and but it's like it feels like they need movies and TV to have hits to help the other things. So it's like they're like, well, where the money comes from this, but to make the money off of that, we need the movies and TV, and we need to make new franchises instead of just like Frozen 3, 4, 5, 6. We need to have another thing that starts a line of sequels that we can then exploit forever and always. So, but I do think the thing with Bob Iger is Bob Iger had to deal with the business. The second Bob Iger thing had to deal with the first Bob Iger's business decisions, which were not as good in the long term, which he had to deal with. So, yeah. But I've never been to a Disney thing as it costs $400. Jesus, I just don't. I don't. Theme parks just seem kind of crazy, and I don't have that kind of money to do this theme park thing. So it's just not my thing. I don't think so. All right, let's just do. But yeah, that's what's going on with the Disney CEO. Sorry, that is very boring. I did a lot of research on it, to be honest with you, and I listened to a couple of podcasts. I read a bunch of articles, and it does sound interesting what's going to happen with Disney. But it is hilarious that to keep another executive who clearly sounds very qualified, they were like, all right, we'll just like pay more than the CEO, which is like he's in charge of her, but she makes more. Okay, all right, interesting. It's also like when it came out, I'm like, so you just didn't just another white dude? I mean, I feel like you could have whatever. All right, let's do trailers and stuff. And there were a lot of trailers. Why didn't they bring back Michael Eisner? You know what though? He was he was at least innovative. You know, he would at least try. He made big swings. Not that Disney video game thing didn't work out, but he tried. Anyway, cheers to you, Austin. Um, um, well, we'll see. All right, let's do trailers. First trailer, the Michael trailer, the Michael Jackson trailer. I don't really think this movie looks good, but I will remind you, that people like Bohemian Rhapsody. I know everyone makes fun of the editing, but people like that. Like that movie made a lot of money. All right, I know people online make fun of it, but most people like that movie. I think this will be similar to that. I on it like watching. I know they're like it's from the same people. It's like yeah, this is gonna be the same shit all over again. I don't. I don't know. I'm actually excited to like I was gonna do some reviews of the Thriller music videos and like some Michael Jackson type reviews, and that I'm excited for. Not as excited for the movie, which seems you know, not I don't know, it just doesn't seem good. There was the trailer for Devil Wears Prada 2, which came out during the Grammys. I didn't really have I mean it we don't know what the concept fully is, and they're really just selling. They're still doing teasers where it's like, look, they're here, which I don't know if that trailer tradition works as well. I honestly do think they should do concept because then people it'll like change the conversation immediately. Instead, you have this like I don't know, I don't know. We'll see. A magnificent life trailer, which is from the guy who I can't think of how to spell his name right now. The director of Trumpets of Belleville, his latest film. It looked really cool. It looks to be sort of about I almost want to say, um, the guy who did a trip to the moon and stuff like that. I'm not sure, but it looked really cool. I'm curious about that. And then we have Shimon. Then we have the drama, which this was a good trailer, a good second trailer because this one worked better. Okay, if you're an original concept, this trailer campaign, I know I've talked about trailer campaigns, but this worked good because at first you're like, okay, Zendaya and Robert Pattinson are in this A24 movie. All right, that sounds cool enough, whatever. And then you come up with the trailer and you learn that they do this. We don't know what she says, but they have this game where before they get married, they tell them the worst thing. Uh, okay, Chan talks movies. Um, uh, uh, tell everyone the worst thing you've ever done, and whatever Zendaya says, like everybody freaks out about it. And I'm like, oh my god, what is it? I've heard it's like something crazy, but the drama looked like a lot of fun. Now I like really want to know. It's like, but that's like fun. I think like maybe that's Zendaya's thing, much like Challengers, where you have a very gossipy, fun to talk about kind of A24 movie. I don't know if Challengers was A24, but it's like I don't know. But if that's like her thing, like every 2 Aprils we get like a fun movie to gossip about. I think that's a good move. I don't know. We'll see if maybe I really want to know what it is. It seemed to be pretty bad because Pattinson was pretty freaked out. I don't know. I like that. We had a trailer for this new Steven Spielberg documentary called The Dinosaurs. It's just a documentary about dinosaurs. I don't know. I will it be better than Walking with Dinosaurs? I don't think so. But maybe it will be. I don't know. Spielberg's involved at least. I'll probably watch it with my son because he likes it. Who doesn't like dinosaurs? So we'll see. Um, how do you define an A24 movie? Cineram. For the drama, it was released by A24, so that's why I'm saying I actually don't know if Challengers. I think is just Sony. I think A24 just means like um, indie type movie, or they're kind of just the new Miramax. I know people don't want you to say that, but like Cineram, you know what I mean. Come on, it's like they're the new. You know, they're like the new Miramax. That's what it is. I know nobody likes to say that, but that's sorry. Anyway, change these. But like, I'd say like a movie with a low budget about people, um, usually young, doing something. There's usually something like kind of young and messed up in it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I can't really, but I know the drama is an A24. So there we go. And finally we have Andrew Stanton's first live action movie, I guess, since John Carter, called In the Blink of an Eye, about people throughout various different uh, periods in history. Kate McKinnon's in it. It looked cool. I will see it. It's going to be out on Hulu, I believe, at the end of the month. But it looked interesting. I think it just said Wally and all the stuff he made that people like, not the which is cooler, A24 Neon. I think Neon, because they do more foreign stuff. Uh, But yeah, it looked interesting. So that's a new one that's coming. And I know Boys Go to Jupiter is going to be on HBO Max. I guess tomorrow. I do plan on seeing that. I would like to see that. It's been kind of harder to see for me for some reason, but it's going to be on HBO Max. So maybe that'll be my last 2025 movie. All right. So sorry. Oh, hello, Rocket Lobite. Let's talk about Mystery Science Theater. A proper A24 movie is also set in Florida. That's an interesting. Was Marty Supreme ever in Florida? It's an interesting. Okay, I'm curious about that one. That one, that's an interesting one. But anyway, all right. So, Mystery Science Theater. We learned that Mike Nelson is coming back with the Riff Tracks crew for the new version of Mystery Science Theater. Right after Shout Factory essentially bought um, the last remaining rights of Mystery Science Theater from um, Joel, who owned the rights or most of the rights, although they had 50% of the rights. They bought all of them from Joel, and now he's an advisor. And I think that was last show we talked about that, maybe. Um, and this week it was announced a Kickstarter for the Riff Tracks crew, that being Bill Corbett, Mike Nelson, and Kevin Murphy, to come back to Mystery Science Theater, and the whole Sci-Fi Channel crew. They've already announced Pearl Forrester, Bobo, and Brain Guy are all going to be there as well. I guess those would be the Mads technically. And they put a Kickstarter that only asked for $20,000. It has crossed $1 million at this point. And they said the first episode will premiere as a Fathom event, much like a lot of Riff Tracks things do. This brings up a lot of different things. And as a Mystery Science Theater fan, one, I know this is the last bit of Mystery Science Theater nostalgia we have left. Mike Nelson, I don't think Kevin Murphy came back, or Bill Corbett. So, or they sort of did, right? They came back, Bill Corbett, and yeah, they came back because they're in the car with Pearl Forrester. But Mike Nelson, who's, I'd say the second biggest host of Mystery Science Theater, has sort of been MIA during the whole reboot era. So it was kind of the last bit of nostalgia is getting him back, or getting Kevin Murphy as Servo and Bill Corbett as Crow. No offense to him, but Kevin Murphy was immortal. But I do think there's certain things I like about this. One, I do think, and I've thought this for a while, I probably like the highs of Joel more than Mike. Those being like Manos and a lot of season 4 and certain things like that. But the show is sort of figuring itself out a lot during the Joel years. And I do think Mike might have more funnier episodes than Joel. But I think I still like Joel more. And I know there's always been this disconnect. And it does seem like the Mike people have gotten a lot louder because they have not had to deal, they haven't had been fed like any Mike stuff in a very long time. Although Riff Tracks has been going, so maybe shut up. But but I do think I don't know. I also don't like people shitting on Emily and Jonah, which seems to happen a lot, particularly when their episodes went to YouTube. Um, Boys Go to Jupiter is excellent. I feel you will enjoy it. Oh, thank you, William. I have heard. I think you were one of the ones who has told me about that, and thank you very much. And I will do the Godzilla light up thing. Thank you for your generosity, and cheers to you, man. No, I do plan on watching. I don't know if it's this weekend, but very soon after, if not. But thank you, thank you for telling me. Cheers to you, man. But um, the thing with this is, and Mike gives a different thing, and I also know that the Sci-Fi Channel years has a little more online cred than people realize. In particular, what is that on my sub? Okay. In particularly, I know like Todd in the Shadows and Linkara have both called out the Sci-Fi Channel years as being better, which I was honestly shocked by. It sort of makes sense though if you think about it. Uh, because of all the Channel Awesome stuff, that they would like the continuity, even though they did not like uh um um okay, I'll check that out, Gary. That sorry, where was I going with this? Sorry. Um there's all this interesting stuff going on in the chat. Um Yeah, they like the continuity, even though Mystery Science Theater didn't like doing the continuity at all, which is kind of funny. That's become uh, a kind of a thing for people is they love the continuity. I was like, how do they deal with that? They publicly didn't like it, but whatever. My main concerns are I do not like this growing fan base thing of like, you know what, the Joel reboot stuff kind of wasn't that great. Mike and the Rift Tracks crew will know what they're doing. I do think they will do good episodes because they've been doing Rift Tracks this whole time. They've probably been parodying movies the way they have longer than anyone, if you think about it, particularly Kevin Murphy. Although they're all very talented guys. Um, I'm not sure. Yeah, and I don't like that Jonah and particularly Emily. Um, I've not heard any involvement of them when I've looked it up, unless someone in the chat or someone commenting later wants to be like, no, you're wrong. It's actually they mentioned that, and I'm not in love with that. But I am happy that Mike's coming back. Mike was the first host I got into. I like Mike Nelson as a host. I'm curious to see what they do. But I kind of wanted the show to continue with like Emily in particular, and some Jonah as well. I think Jonah's. I don't know what's going on there. I've noticed I don't think either of them have said very much about it. But they're doing 4 episodes. As for what movies they are, if I bought Mystery Science Theater and I'm looking at what to do, I think there is one movie Mystery Science Theater has never done that I think you would have to do Plan 9. I just don't see how you don't do Plan 9 from Outer Space. It just like the show, what season would this be now? We're like past 10th season. It's an easy layup. Just they're going to do Plan 9 from Outer Space. Um, but I also think like if I'm going to complain about the reboot, the one thing is the rapid fire jokes thing. Like I love some of the things like their bit. I think it was Baron Vaughn came up with, and that yeah, I love Baron Vaughn actually a lot. But his thing of this guy as it was like Tom Cruise as this guy as in this like an actor playing an actor in this movie joke. They did a lot. That was a great joke, and they had some good ongoing bits. But they needed to chill out with all the thing. But I do think like we're gonna get a really well known bad movie. It'll be either be The Room or it'll be Plan 9. You have to do a big one if you're really gonna have the rights for the show. I don't know. See, Godzilla, the perception of Godzilla has changed so much from when they used to do Godzilla to how we view Godzilla now. I just don't see that as much. You could pick a different one, but I do think it'll be a legendary bad movie. And also, I will remind you, what was it called? Mac and Me did very well for them actually, but I don't expect them to discover a B movie like a Munchie or I actually like Munchie was really good. I've rewatched Munchie. I've rewatched Cry Wilderness. I've rewatched certain ones, so I'm disappointed by like the shitting on them. And I've seen the live stream on YouTube and the chat, and as soon as a new reboot episode starts and people leave, they're like, "Oh yeah, people are leaving because it's a reboot." I'm like, "No, people are leaving because an episode just ended. That's a natural jumping off point." Like, and I've seen that happen a lot. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not loving the new hatred in the fandom, but not in love with that. But I do think they're gonna have to do something big. They're gonna have to do something like that. I'm curious because they only said 4. And I think this would be a good idea. What if like you do riff tracks, and it can switch on and off, and when they're not doing Mystery Science Theater, Emily can come in with Jonah, But I also Emily is like works more than Jonah, not to be an asshole, but like Jonah has struggled a lot more recently, and Emily is like a constantly working puppeteer. So I am curious if like that will she's too busy or something like that. I don't know. I'm just making shit up, but I would be cool if like they do like what they did with the last season and like people can rotate in and out. I think that would be a much better thing there. But I don't know. It's no, it's oh man, cornbread. I'll tell you when I'm at work, I'll have the Mystery Science. No, sorry, I'll have the Unsolved Mysteries live stream on a lot. That is a that can be a very tame one, and then it can get real out there. And yeah, it's but no, I have noticed almost every time an episode ends, like oh, it's a this one, And like almost every time I'm the guy who's like, it's a natural jumping off point. Like people go, oh, it's over. You know what? I was gonna go to bed in 5 minutes or a half hour. I don't want to start it. Like anyway, people are generally weird. But anyway, I'm happy for this news. There are some implications I don't like. Like I know Faith's take is I think the other I think it's just me and her, the last two Mystery Science Theater YouTubers. And I will admit, like, yes, I do not watch a lot of the reboot ones, a lot, but I mainly just watch whatever's on Pluto. So, like, there are times I'm like, I don't know if I want to go back into that as much. I kind of want the old ones more. So I will agree to an extent, but I don't love the sort of toxicity about it. But I hope they do something good. I do think they'll do good ones. I there has been a lot said about Joel and how Joel failed the last Kickstarter and they've succeeded. I think the difference is Shout Factory has money already. They're already a business, and they probably were just using this to pay for some of it. Whereas Joel had to get all the money from Kickstarter. I also am like, I don't want another Mystery Science Kickstarter. I'm tired of Mystery Science Theater Kickstarters. Can you please not do this anymore? Like I can't like I we're all too broke and it's hard to do and I just don't I think people don't get that. But I mean Nuki I guess yeah, something like that, but I think they have to do something like oh they're doing that because it I think like that first one that is going to play in theaters and I do think that'll be a bigger Riff Tracks episode much like I think the Mystery Science Theater reunion was their previous record breaker or something like that, their biggest one. So I think if they do something like that, you know, but yeah, we'll see. I wouldn't mind. What if they go on tour? I would love a new Mystery Science Theater tour as well. Or like, what if, yeah, a Mike riff tracks, like you either see riff tracks or Mystery Science Theater. I don't know. I think they could really make it work, but we'll see. Uh, we'll see. The Gizmoplex was not the greatest idea, to be honest with you. I never loved the streaming service thing, but I don't know. I think Mystery Science Theater works best when Shout Factory runs it, where you could just turn on the TV and it's there somewhere. Because that's a show that I know a lot of people who are not like sci-fi people or Mystery Science Theater people who just put it on, and I think that show works best with that. So, um, yeah. All right. Sorry. Moving on. Those are kind of the longer things. Now we can do shorter things. So Genndy Tartakovsky supposedly is developing a show, a Game of Thrones show. Oh, also, did I mention when I was on the subway, it was not a great subway ride, but you know it's all packed, and then this guy on his phone watching Primal right in my field of vision. Greatest thing that's happened to me on the subway in years. Just I got to watch episode 9, season 1. I know this because he hit the bar and I could tell, but I was like, man, Primal's so good. It was awesome. Anyway, if I didn't mention that already, it's what I mean. How often does that happen to you in life? I was like, this is amazing. We need this to happen all the time. Guy, whoever you are, thank you. Thank you. Everyone should just watch Primal on the subway. Anyway, so Genndy is developing a Game of Thrones show. It is obviously animated. It's called The Nine Voyages, an animated series focused on Lord Corlys Valerian, the sea snake, which will be reportedly be helmed by Genndy Tartakovsky. They have developed a lot of these Game of Thrones shows, and they do put a lot of money in developing Game of Thrones shows that do not happen. And also, it's a Genndy thing, so they'll just cancel just cause. But hey Norbert, but I just think this sounds cool. I think you do cool stuff with it. I do think that is like HBO Max and Warner's in particular are looking at like, hey, what if we do a animated thing of our like what happened with Predator Killer of Killers. They're kind of looking at our Lord of the Rings. They're like, yeah, but then we have another title when people click on that franchise and it won't be as expensive. And people do generally, you know, the fan base likes them and they do get watched. And apparently the financials for these animated kind of things do work out. So as much as we're used to looking at Genndy stuff and going like, oh, that's not, you know, it's a Genndy project, so it won't work out. I will give this some credit there, that I do think Genndy's Game of Thrones show could happen. I hope it does. It sounds really, I think he could do better things action wise than the normal live action directors don't, from what I haven't seen the spinoffs really, but the original show, I always thought they could have done a better job. So I kind of, or they'd like spend way too much on one sequence. Like Gendy's not a guy who does that. So I think like for the Primal guy, the Samurai Jack guy, to do this, I think it could have really could be really awesome. I don't know if it's like he's producing it and someone else will just direct it. To me, it's like, I don't know. I don't want the Primal crew like all like when they show like the sound people, which is important because there's no dialogue. When they show that crew, I'm like, this is like my favorite TV crew ever. But I don't want them working on it. I just want them to do Primal forever. But I liked Warriors Eternal. If it's Warriors Eternal, I'm down. I like Unicorn Warriors. I'm the only one. Nobody liked that, and I think it got copyright claimed or something. Anyway, all right. A24, we're back to them. Got the Texas Chainsaw rights. What's going on with this is they are developing a TV show, and they're looking at JT Molnar, who wrote A Long Walk, but is a horror director in his own right. Let me just say that right now, because I noticed they are calling him a writer of The Long Walk, but I'm like, well, yeah, but he's also he directed like 10 features, so I'm inclined to like call him a actual horror director. I was a little surprised they didn't call him that. I'm noticing this a lot where like when I look into things more, they're not saying this, but they want to bring it back in terms of a TV show. I think that sounds like garbage. I want to just see a new Texas Chainsaw movie. But Texas cinephiles do have a real fascination with Texas Chainsaw. Most of the things I've read, like Harry Knowles back in the day. We don't need to get into his Texas Chainsaw rumor that it was debunked pretty quickly. But when him and the other guys who lived in Austin would write about Texas Chainsaw was always interesting. So I understand why Glenn Powell would like it. I don't know. You could do like a True Detective thing, and then it's just Texas Chainsaw. There is stuff there. It is a cool franchise, but we'll see. I should after where are we? Sorry, I'm not good at. I feel like my brain's a little mushy today. All right, I'm going to turn this off until we get to 40. And then we get to 40, he'll do the roar, which we're kind of close to. I have the other Godzilla here. I will figure out the other light soon. I apologize for that. William says, what if Untitled Game of Thrones Project is actually just the working title for Fix 2? I really hope not. That's a real... Oh, man, Fix was... I've even heard non-animation people be like, it was bad though. I was like, wow. People did. You know what? He is the director. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. But Primal's really good. I haven't watched all of them, but anyway, see you a little bit. He should threaten that all the time. All right. All right, so this is, I noticed there hasn't been as much talk about this. Brady Corbet, who did The Brutalist, which I never saw, but I have a copy of. I just keep not watching it. Sorry about my nose there. His next movie, this is a real thing, is going to be 4 hours. This is no holds barred. 4 hours. NC-17. $70 million. Sounds like the worst idea ever of a movie I would definitely see. It's about the California economy and immigration. That's right. Who wants to see Brady Corbet's porno western expensive movie? He's an auteur, baby. He's going right to Heaven's Gate and walking the fuck through. He is this guy. I was like, whoa. I didn't know, by the way, Testament of Anne Lee apparently is his wife's movie, and it's all the people who worked on Brutalist. And I guess they switch off. But I'm like, so wait, you went from like Brutalist, Portrait of the Testament of Anne Lee, not Portrait of Anne Lee, or whatever it was, and then porno western. I mean, it's not a porno western, but it's NC-17 West. I was just like, bro, you go for it. I guess I love how like this guy doesn't. You think he would do like directors used to be like, all right, I'll do one to make money, and he's just not. He's just not. I like Corbett. The hell yeah, brother, get $18. He just doesn't give a shit. I was like, you could probably just get, maybe put Ryan Reynolds as a cop in a detective thing and, get $100 million to make it. But he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. The Thunderbird kid. Wait, he's the guy in Thunderbirds? Is that him? I forgot about this. This is probably an old Brady Corbet. Is he in Thunderbirds? Oh, he was in 13. Oh, he's in the Funny Games. People like that. And I was like, oh, he's in Martha, Marcy. Man, I saw that. I didn't know. Is he in he was in King of Queens. Oh, he had a guest role in King of Queens. Sorry, I'm literally just reading his Wikipedia right now. Director, act. Oh, he's in Thunderbirds. Okay, was this a joke we used to make? Sorry, I forgot if I said cheers to you, but whatever. Where are we at? We are close to 40, and then we'll do the cancel over. Anyway, I just like, I was like, wow, right? Like every interview is like, I'm so broke. I can barely do the Oscars. What's your next movie? I'm gonna be even more broke, bro. I was like, dude, what? Like, come on. Direct a Wonder Man episode or something. Come on, man. That's nuts. I was just like, what? I did. Like, is the 70? I mean, like, look, good for you. I hope it's really good, but I'm just like, that's not. Is Hugh Jackman in it? Is somebody in it that people go see? Like, who is Jason Statham in it? That would be cool. Like, it's like, because I think it's supposed to take place over a long period of time. What if it's like Jason Statham just sees the economy build up and he kills people and has sex with them? I don't understand what the fuck this movie is right now. But look, hats off. I noticed people wanted me to talk about the Grammys a little bit. I will say this. I think it's cool Bad Bunny won. I would have liked GNX to win because that's kind of the first, what I would call a, I guess, traditional rap album in a sense, because the only other two rap albums are Lauryn Hill, which is like kind of R&B. It's like her own thing. And then Speakerbox Love Below is like not, you did miss the Iron Lung discussion, Western Vids. It's good, but I mean, like, Stankonia is better. Let's be real. But I would have liked GNX as like a traditional rap album to win for once, but it didn't. But the Bad Bunny album's good. I like that SZA and Kendrick won for Record of the Year. I like that he won for Album of the Year. I listened to The Girl Who. I don't know why it needs to be NC7. I'm sure that's what his investors are saying too. I don't know. That guy's nuts. We listened to the album where it's like the dad and his daughter who won. She's like the youngest Grammy winner, and that was pretty good, by the way. I listened to the Mario one. I posted that on Twitter or something. That was decent. That was all right. I don't know. It was basically like Sabrina Carpenter's performance was great. She didn't win anything, and she lost Best Video to that Dolce video, which I'm not a hater of that song. I know some people are. I just don't think. I don't know. I'm not a hater of the song, but like a weird music video winner choice. And my daughter's really into the Grammys, so we ended up watching the Grammys thing. Like you can watch it on YouTube, all the other awards, but it was. I don't know. I don't have much else to say. I mean, I know like that band Turnstile won a bunch, and I really haven't listened to them. But I kind of wanted Kendrick to win. I'll just say that I would have liked him to perform too. Although I think 30 for 30 is better than Luther. I know Todd in the Shadow said that, but anyway, I don't know. I think the problem with the Grammys, if you're my age, is the Grammys fucked up all the 90s, and like 94, which is a pretty big album year, like they gave it to Tony Bennett unplugged. Like it's just like they'd make like really stupid decisions a lot, and then like in the 2000s, like no, we're good. And I was like, yeah, but fuck you. How about that? Like you didn't do a best rap album till like 96. Like it's just like, to me it's like they kind of like I don't, like the Oscars sucked, but like every now and then there'd be something good in there. But because there was like this ocean of like bullshit, I was just like, not. It's just and I've heard that from people my age. They're just like, I think it's just not our. You fucked it up. You fucked it up, basically. It's like you waited too long and then you lost us, and so we'll never really take you seriously. So that's my thing with the Grammys. It's just like how do you not do like Sorry. I think Nirvana never got a best album. Like, I think it's like Wu-Tang didn't get that many nominations. It's just like, I don't know. There was cool things about it, but I always think back to like, I mean, you guys like missed out on all the big stuff for me. It's like, and you had Bex Odelay and you gave best album to Celine Dion. Like, I don't fucking, what is that? I don't understand it. Anyway, all right. Sorry. In other music things, we got the first look at the Beatles, the actors playing the Beatles. Cinderam, what did the Grammys pre-show do about Chapel Run's outfit, Major Censoring? They didn't do anything. They didn't show it in the pre-show. I found out about it later, even though we watched it. I was disappointed. Cheers to you, Cinderam. Because we saw it later and we were watching so much Grammy stuff, you'd think we'd see it, but we missed it. And we had it on all the time. It just, they didn't even do it. I don't know. I mean, look, death metal, they should also be better at metal. Like, what, they didn't do Metallica until, like, Injustice for All? It's like, come on. You missed it. And I hate when people say, I don't like Metallica, I don't like the Black Album. Well, it's fucking not Metallica. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, they didn't show, we didn't see it where in the ones we did, the pre-shows we saw, unfortunately. But we generally were Chapel people. But cheers to you, Sam. Okay, this can come back. We'll do a good. Are you going to do the right roar? We always got to do it twice. Let's do it. Every time. Every time. All right, I'm going to turn my. I notice when I turn my phone internet off, it fixes itself. There we go. I can hear the computer being weird. All right. The other things are there's a poster for the new Rambo with just someone's arm. I probably shouldn't have even written that down. There's a Pirates reboot. The idea is they want to get the son of Jack Sparrow and potentially whoever Margot Robbie's playing, Iowa Debris, is also maybe involved as Marco's friend or something. I actually don't know. But they do want to do a reboot of Pirates of the Caribbean without Johnny Depp. I know if you're mad at Amber Heard, put it in the comments. It's like, whatever. I'm not a Johnny Depp apologist, but Disney does, like I said, they like to milk brands until there's really nothing left. Look at the Tron movies. So I think they're going to do that, but they want Margot Robbie because she is kind of a movie star. We will, that's what's going on. It's written by the Scribe of 1917, who's not Sam Mendes, Christy Wilson Carnes, who's a big Hollywood screenwriter, at least right now. And she, it seems like something they're developing, but it seems like they're sticking with Margot Robbie and combining ideas. MLT, can award winners lecture the audience, and should other celebrities lecture them about not lecturing people? Like, I don't know anymore. I don't know what is with the. Oh, thank you, MLT, for the 125 whatever's that is. Cheers to you. I don't mind the having a problem with ice stuff, but it's just like, I don't know. I do think like Billie Eilish now has more best song Grammys than anyone ever. I think that might be, maybe stop with that one. I didn't find any of them like amazing speeches, but I don't know. I don't see why that's such a big deal. They always do that. Like, who the fuck? It's also like, here's the thing about the speeches. It's like, as much as you can prepare, it's like you're getting this huge award that's like this whole thing with like your whole career. You have to go up there in front of everyone, all these people, and come up with something really great to say. And I think most people are just like blah blah blah, and like, come on, just give people a break. I don't know, but I don't really mind it. I wish they'd be a little more specific and maybe eloquent and stuff, but whatever. I like SZA. SZA is cool. I like her. Anyway, I know she was like, just be positive, which was kind of dumb, but whatever. So sorry. I did see it one for a thing, but they will probably do a Margot Robbie robot if she's. I mean, well, they probably won't because they'd have to pay for her likeness. That's why the Kylo Ren has that mask. That's why JJ didn't come up with that. That's a marketing. All right. It's not a joke. All right. And same with Star-Lord and the mask thing. All right. Peanuts. We found a little bit about what Sony's plans are. They put a very corporately worded thing that's hard to get through, but it's basically that they are definitely going to do movies. They want to do music stuff, which makes sense because me and my kids listen to, the We listened to the Vincent Guaraldi stuff, but they've done other uh, music stuff with the Peanuts. Like Dave Brubeck did a good. I know I talked about that in my video for that there, but you could get actually like a Wynton Marsalis. There's a lot of jazz musicians you could get and just have Peanuts on there, and like I think I would listen to it, and other people would. So they could do actually interesting stuff with that. But they are planning on doing specifically movies, and they are going to involve the Schultz family. But it was basically a bunch of corporate jargon, and it seemed like they're like, we could have it do these things, and people are like, okay, like what? And they're like these things that we can do now. And you're like, okay, all right. So, what you thought they were going to do? I probably shouldn't have talked about that. Anime anything would be no. I want studios to go like, why should we remake it? Just like, what's the Mappa doing? Make the Mappa do a thing with that. I know Netflix bought some of them. That would be funny if they're just like, what's Studio 4C doing? Can't they make a Fast and the Furious for us? Can't they do that? Vin Diesel will do a voice. I would love it if that's how Hollywood. I mean, what is it? Majority of young people like anime more anyway. So it's like, come on, that's where it's going. Whatever. All right, so let's talk about Batman rumors because we got to do that. I guess I don't know. She is doing the anime. Oh, that's awesome. So this is cool. Anyway, um, that's my celebrity crush, I guess. Yeah, I'd say so. Also, her music is very relaxing, so that's probably also part of it. But there are rumors that James Gunn might direct Batman: Brave and the Bold. The rumors are contingent on this, and this is sort of, I do not love the let's put Matt Reeves and James Gunn against each other with, by the way, no proof that they hate each other other than that they both exist, which I understand there's probably a natural thing there, but like the amount of words that have been spilled on this is too much. However, I agree with this. Um Batman Batman Part 2 or Batman or whatever it is. The Batman 2. If that makes $1 billion, I don't think Batman Brave and the Bold. I think they will be hesitant about doing any Batman in the DC whatever. I think they'll maybe make him push it back. That might also be why Matt Reeves is like, let's put as much Batman stuff in big people in this Batman so we can fuck with, make sure Brave and the Bold doesn't happen. But again, nobody said shit about that. Oh, is it freezing up? See, the problem I don't like about the freezing up thing is I have the OBS, I have the live stream here. Maybe having the OBS, I'll just minimize it. Maybe that'll help. But anyway, I just find it. We'll see what happens, but there is no director announced for Brave and the Bold. I know Andy Muschietti is still. If you called Warner Brothers, that's who they are saying, but almost everyone doesn't think that's the case anymore. I'm also like, there are rumors also that James Gunn could direct most of the DCU, which I think, to me, it's like, dude, don't do that. Just stick to Superman and let other people do the other ones. I'm fine with that one, but I don't know. There's a lot of rumors he might just take over everything. So we'll see about that. But it does seem like there is sort of with Batman Brave and the Bold and Batman 2, a bit of a competition for that. I'm sorry about the thing there. For the well, I don't have. See, I only have one tripod. That's the problem. So I hope it. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't mentioned Paramount at all. All right, let's keep going, and then we'll take. How many things do we have? Oh, we have a few things, not too many things. All right. So Nancy Meyers. I'm sorry about the freezing thing. I don't know. I think I gotta find the time to fix stuff. And I also would like to still do the movie crap, the Oscar nominations breakdown, but I actually have to write it, and I've been busy with a bunch of stuff. At some point. But you love the Flash. Good for you. So Nancy Meyers is directing a new rom-com. It follows the director and producer who fall in love, made successful films together, broke up, and are forced back together. Hope that's not about Peter Bogdanovich. But it's starring Jude Law, Emma Mackey, Penelope Cruz, Kieran Culkin, and Owen Wilson. Comes out next Christmas. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not the biggest Nancy. I don't know. I like Nancy Meyers, but when people go like all crazy about it, I'm like, okay. I mean, she's not. It's not Billy Wilder or nothing, guys. Let's chill the fuck out. But it'd be nice to have another big thing. I know she's been trying to make this, and it's like the problem is she doesn't make cheap movies. That's the problem. But maybe she figured it out. There is also in other superhero rumors that should have been organized better in the script, and I didn't. There is a rumor that Secret Wars, not Doomsday, but the next one will be split into 2 movies. I'm going to say this now. That is a stupid idea. Do not do that. We do not need that. Nobody's going to like that. Please don't do that. Just make it Doomsday, Secret Wars, move on. I do not want 2 Secret Wars. No more. Anyway. All right. We got the first look at, or just a picture of the Jonathan Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein's movie. Those are the guys who did Dungeons and Dragons, among other things, starring Ryan Reynolds and Kenneth Branagh. This is coming out on September 4th on Apple TV. The spy thriller follows a Navy pilot who becomes stranded in Russia and forms an unlikely alliance with an ex-KGB agent. Cool. I get to hear Kenneth Branagh do his bad Russian accent. So I'm going to turn that off for now until we get to another thing there. Sorry about the... So what is crazy about the freezing, it'll freeze on the window that is like what you guys see. But on the streaming window I have for YouTube, it's fine, which I never understand. Like, why, what is that? What's that about? It's very weird. I don't get it. Whatever. Anyway, it's very strange. Whatever. All right. So this is probably news that you probably haven't heard, and it's actually pretty cool. If you remember who Casper Kelly is, he is the guy who directed Too Many Cooks, and also did what's it, the Yule log, Adult Swim Yule log movies, is now doing a new movie that was played at Sundance. It's called Buddy. It's a horror comedy. Its straightforward take is, what if Barney the dinosaur were a sadistic monster? It's a concept that can be both immediately intriguing, however, Buddy boasts a sharp... I'm trying not to read the plot because I don't want to know it. It was shot in a 4:3 aspect ratio with a late 90s aesthetic. Follows a group of kids who hang out in a playhouse filled with colorful and talking objects. There's Mr. Mailbox, Couchy, and Trashy, all voiced by the great Eric Bauza. Then we have Betty Bunny, a humanoid pink rabbit with overalls, portrayed by puppet artist Cuden. This sounds really interesting. There's also human characters. But last but not least is the show's titular character Buddy, who's voiced by Keegan-Michael Key. And then everything seems perfect, and then does harmless shenanigans, but then when they're trying to, I guess, summon him, they see a plush version of the character and stuff goes bad and stuff like that. It sounds really cool. I didn't realize he had a new movie coming out. I'm also surprised Keegan-Michael Key was always like, oh, I will never do horror movies. And then he did them. But I hadn't heard much about this Casper Kelly movie. It's sort of like, I don't know. It sounds really cool. I don't think there's a release date, but a crazy Barney thing that goes wild sounds like kind of up his alley. And he's already done 2 horror movies I like. So I hope it's like crazy like the Yule log movies. I'm excited for it. So I know not a lot of people were talking about that, but I thought it was worth talking about. All right, we're going to do Obits. While this I don't think is freezing, but might be. I'm so lost on what is going on here. All right. Where are we here? I mean, it sounds like a fun movie. I like Casper Kelly as a creative person, at the very least. All right. Obits. The biggest one, I think, and I feel like there's been so much going on this week. Like, what was that thing with, like, Savannah Guthrie's mom. Jesus, that's wild. Like, I don't know. Anyway, that's not an obit. I don't think yet. I hope not. Anytime I bring up to people are like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "What do you mean? What am I talking about? How do people not know what I'm talking about?" Anyway, Casper Kelly also directed the most memorable segment in VHS Halloween called Fun Size. Okay, maybe I need to see. I didn't know he did that. Cheers to you, Will Mullen, for letting me know. Thank you. Um, yeah, maybe YouTube just wants these streams to be shorter. I'm kind of curious. Okay, I need to work on that. I'm sorry, guys. It's just get everything done, and I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll do like a practice stream, right? But I should just update a lot of stuff. Anyway, all right. Are we? As always, when I have the most people, it's like never. Whatever. Okay, so first off, let's talk about Catherine O'Hara. Um, she is what is going on? See, on OBS we're fine. Is it that this is fine? I don't understand this. Do anything else open by accident? No. How about this? I'll close this other one just in case. All right. If anyone's here in the chat, let me know, I guess. All right. So Catherine O'Hara died on Friday. I think this is a surprise for most people because she didn't appear to be sick by any means or anything like that. But unfortunately, she did pass away this Friday. I think Catherine O'Hara is probably one of the more legendary creators. I will be alive till probably around 12:30, I believe, my time. So another half hour or so. Um, uh, I don't know. Catherine O'Hara is one of the great talents, kind of our era. I've always kind of liked her. I think most people forget. I saw more people talk about how she was Sally in Nightmare for Christmas. I never hear about that ever. Most of the time, I have to tell people about that. So, oh, thank you, fake plastic trees. I really appreciate that. And I don't know. It's also weird because I just saw her. I just rewatched Home Alone 1 and 2. There's so many great works from SCTV to everything. She's done such a great. I believe she played Pauline Kael in a sketch. I'm pretty sure. She's just a really amazing, talented woman. It's sad that like we're never gonna see her again. But we're gonna see her again at Christmas next year. We're gonna see her on Halloween and Nightmare for Christmas. We're gonna see her in Beetlejuice. Like she had so many iconic roles. I don't think we'll ever not be watching her performances. And then you think of Best in Show, Waiting for Guffman. I mean, it's just like an insane career, an insane body of work. So truly a huge loss. I think it's like hard to think of where we would be in film without her as a comedic performer or just an actress in general. She's done some really great work. I honestly think we underappreciated how great she really was. It's unfortunate. And I didn't realize she got an Emmy nomination for SCTV. I didn't know that. Grady Diamond Wilson. I'll go through these a little quicker because I don't know these as well. Grady Diamond Wilson, who's on the I believe it was Son from Sanford and Son. RIP to him. I don't know that show as well as a lot of Sony shows, but I know him well enough to know who he is. Sorry for that. Chus Negron, who was from Three Dog Night, passed away as well. As well as Christina Lang, who was Sam Fuller's wife for a long time and was in White Fang, which was directed by Peckinpah. RIP to them as well. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Hopefully, the stream will behave itself. We'll see, Jim. And then we'll talk about the Muppet Show, and then we'll do questions. So we're going to take a break if you need to use the bathroom. I'm very sorry. I have updated some of this stuff. It's really just like it's hard to get things done and have time and all those things. So don't think of it as laziness. Think of it as I'm one guy, and I'm very happy to have Sidram doing the timestamps with the stopwatch. I really appreciate that. We really should be praising him because I don't know when the timestamps would happen or when I would have the time to do them. So I really do appreciate that. But anyway, especially today, especially especially this week. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break. Then we'll talk about the Muppet Show, and then we will questions, and that'll be it. All right, cool. I'll be right back after these messages. I was about to leave, but I see the Mandela Butterfly super chat. I will drink to you, the energy drink to you when I get back. But thank you, man, for that. Oh, well, happy birthday, Cornbread. That's awesome. Who is the Crop Show and why do they keep reacting? I'm confused. But yes, thank you, Sinram. What was he gonna say? Really? We've done February twice? 2 years in a row? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I guess because sometimes I do Saturdays and stuff. But anyway, first off, let me switch to the let me switch to the image here. Hello. Cheers to you, Vanilla Butterfly, and happy birthday. If anyone else wants to do a super chat, now is the end times. I guess you could say. All right. It was a good show. Sorry the CEO thing. I was like, man, I better have my CEO talk ready. And now I'm like, oh, that was a little boring. Sorry about that. Well, you know what? Later when he embraces AI, you'll know to expect it. I guess. Whatever. Or did I say cornbread? I thought I said Madonna Butterfly. Oh, well, I'm confused. Cheers again, Madonna Butterfly. Happy birthday. All right. So tonight, I'm gonna. Seems to be nothing to stop it from being weird. That's the unfortunate part. I don't have another camera, so if you're ever wondering why I use chimney clips and stuff, it's because the things here. But I'm hoping it doesn't fuck around too much, but we'll see. Although I did actually free up a bunch of space yesterday, so I'm a little confused. Anyway, all right. So if you were unaware, so he keeps building. Part of me is like, maybe I should wait a minute for the computer to calm down. But I don't know. I don't really have much else to talk about. I'm trying to think if there's anything crazy going on. Nothing I can think of. We're gonna have videos this weekend. It's gonna be cool. And Super Bowl's this weekend, or the Puppy Bowl really. For me, it's the Puppy Bowl halftime show. A little bit after. That's the most Super Bowl. I don't really watch the Super Bowl, so Bloody Sunday is a good Super Bowl thing. Maybe next show I'll read Bloody Sunday. There's a Black Sunday, which they actually filmed at like the one Super Bowl before it was as big as it is now, and it's pretty cool. Robert Shaw and somebody else. Robert Shaw's in it. It was a cool movie. People used to talk about it more, but it is a cool movie. I know Christopher Nolan really likes it, and I reviewed it for the rough cuts when I used to do the Collab channel, but I wouldn't mind doing a newer review for it. All right. What? Oh man, why was it playing? Jesus. Fucking stream was playing the wrong. All right, whatever. Okay, so if you didn't know, let's just move on. Sorry, everyone. If you didn't know, there was a pilot or sort of a one-off special, I guess, for the Muppet Show that came out on Disney Plus and also played on TV on ABC between two episodes of Abbott Elementary. I'm not sure if there were reruns. I didn't check, but which honestly sounds like a really goated lineup. Abbott Elementary, Muppet Show, Abbott Elementary to me, but whatever. But the Muppet Show is back. It is a full Muppet Show starting not really with the theme song, but sort of at least having the same format of a variety show with various different segments, songs, and hosted by Sabrina Carpenter and executive produced by Seth Rogen and also Sabrina Carpenter. But Seth Rogen talks about his executive producer credit more, so I guess whatever. This is, I think most people know, is a way to get the Muppets sort of back in the public eye theoretically and hopefully at some point give us another Muppet Show type thing. But we don't know if that's going to happen necessarily. But we do. I want to talk about this special specifically. I generally I like this special. I watched it twice. Sorry. I watched it twice, and I watched it twice for a number of reasons. One is like when I watched it with my family, it didn't blow me away as much. I don't love that it didn't start with the Muppet Show theme song. It started with um like this like reminiscing thing, which I'm guessing like to be like, oh, we're back. But I kind of would have just liked it to start with the Muppet Show. And there were a lot of minor things that bugged me more the first time than the second time didn't bug me as much. That one stuck with me. But for the most part, they got the overall tone and what the Muppet Show was, and they're very respectful of what that tone was and everything like that. And I like that they kept to that. I thought that was really cool. But there's certain things they did that I didn't like, and there's certain things that I thought they could have improved for. One of them is one is like them doing like songs and stuff is very the Muppet Show. I know people are like that was weird that well, Syndrome. Sorry, this is a super chat. Syndrome. Wait, it's not a one-off. It's been told, and Seth Rogen has said, and other people working on it said, if it does well, they will consider making more of them. But right now, it's currently it's just a one-off. But the possibility of it not just being a one-off is there, is what we know right now. But cheers to you. But yes, that's the yeah. But it got it, and I know people particularly like Rizzo's "Blinded by the Lights" thing. That's very Muppet Show. They would always do like um a song at some point in the Muppet Show. They always did that kind of stuff. I wish it had been like maybe to update it, it had been a parody, or usually they did a different version of the song. They just did "Blinded by the Lights" with Rizzo. They didn't really do much with it. I thought it was fine, but like they used to do like a interesting cover or something like that, and I kind of would have liked that a little more. But they were basically just being respectful and reminding everyone what the format was. All of them are on Disney Plus. The original Muppet Show, I should add, by the way. Sabrina Carpenter, who hosted it, was like perfect for this, like beyond perfect for this. She's fairly short, so she's not too much bigger than a lot of the Muppets, not to be a jerk. And I liked her interplay with Miss Piggy. I particularly liked her, was it Islands in the Street, in the Stream or whatever, with Kermit and Miss Piggy. That was probably the best segment of the entire special. In my mind, next to the Can't Stop Us Now Queen cover they did, which I thought that was actually really good. And I liked her doing Manchild. I didn't really like the Pigs with Wigs segment as much, and the Gonzo thing was okay. I didn't really laugh as much, although I thought it was a very good version of a Muppet Show, actually. And I thought they knew exactly what that was. The certain things I didn't like, and I'll say that this is I don't understand why, and they do it in the Muppets as well. I don't want to see the audience. In the original, you rarely ever saw the audience. I don't think you did. And it's sort of, and at one point they actually break the 180 rule because they have a camera behind Kermit, and it like really like there's a reason we have the 180 rule. It really doesn't cut well. And I kind of felt like in most cases they shot it correctly, which it's basically like shot like SNL is, where you have multi kind of live cameras and stuff. But they instead they would shoot it um in sort of weirder ways. Some ways like the Can't Stop Us Now sequence, I thought it really worked. With the man-child thing, I thought it really worked. But in other cases, like I thought they just sort of overshot it, which I don't love that kind. It didn't really work for me, honestly. And particularly showing the audience, like, are we to believe um, that they're going to show a celebrity in the audience every time? I didn't, or like that was trying to help it, or I didn't get the audience bits. I thought that kind of stunk. I really just want to be with the Muppets backstage and them on stage. It was sort of fine this time, but I don't want that to be a regular occurrence. And I don't want them breaking the 180 rule. And I get like, they had to have some like things like, oh, it's our time back, and have a certain permanence to the episode. But most of them are sort of like one-off sort of things, and you can kind of like pop in and pop out. And I don't know. I wasn't in love with that, but I got why they did it. Overall, I think it was very good, and I thought they understood what the Muppet Show is and understood what they got, like what to do with it. I wish they kind of, if they're going to continue, like please do an interesting cover and or a parody. because like I think these segments would work if you can share them, and they're sharing the Sabrina ones, particularly her doing Manchild and the Islands in the Stream thing, and I think those are two of the better parts of this. I think the Islands in the Stream is like the best Muppet thing they could get. I didn't like if they used green screen. I thought that stunk. Like the Muppets should be feeling like a very live, like almost the puppet performers. You can showcase them as much of the hosts and stuff. And honestly, like some of the cutting interrupted that in a sense. Like you should never, it should just like be shot like they're performing it in like one shot sort of thing. So I wish they had sort of uh stayed with that, honestly. But overall, the overall, like if you're like, could these people make a good The Muppet Show? Yeah, they totally could. And I think this is a successful Muppet Show. I just think they like went a little too far and it was a little unnecessary. I would like Sabrina Carpenter to come back. I thought she was sort of perfect, had the perfect tone, was very perfect for this. But I wish, play around with it more, understand like much like SNL, like each of these segments will get traveled around and everything like that. Or like the beaker thing. Sorry, I didn't mention the beaker thing. I liked how weird and funny that was with the eyeball stuff. There are certain things that worked really well about this special, and I think overall I like it. But I do think like it was overshot. You don't need Seth Rogen there. You don't need Maya Rudolph there. It's supposed to just be Sabrina Carpenter or the host. That's all it should be. We don't like SNL gets a little too kitschy when they bring out like people to do one sketch and stuff anyway. Like just keep it simple, stupid. That's why the Muppet Show continues on. And that's what we need from it. And I hope they continue to do that. But if you're asking me like if this is like showing you like a proof of concept of what they would do with the Muppet Show, I like it very much. I like that idea. But will I watch this as much as I watch just regular Muppet Show, which I do watch occasionally? No, probably not, to be honest with you. I like Sabrina Carpenter. I like those two segments. I'll probably just watch those two segments. I don't know if I'd watch it. I did watch this twice, and I did enjoy it more the second time. So as I do rewatch these a lot, I probably will rewatch this at some point. And I do think it's decent, and I do think it's good. I just think like, don't break the 180 rule. Don't show the audience. Just shoot it like it's SNL. If you don't understand the variety show, the people who are directing it, who I'm guessing most of the people directing this were born since the Muppet Show ended in 1981, I'll remind you. Almost everyone who's a celebrity in this, I think, was born after 81. I'm fairly confident Seth Rogen and definitely Sabrina Carpenter. I'm not sure about Maya Rudolph. But like most of them grew of age in an age of TV without variety shows. And it seemed like the Muppet Show understood what those were. And this is like trying to reimagine what a variety show would be, but it's like just shoot SNL. And that's how this thing works. And I just did feel like the cutting and stuff made it more awkward than it needs to be because the performances were there, the performers were there, just the direction I didn't think was at its best, for being honest with you. I did not mind Kermit at all. I didn't mind that voice. I know it bothered like my family was watching it and it bothered other people. I was kind of okay with it. But it did feel like as it went on, they sort of like got it more. And I did think like they understood what to do in other places. It's just like the overall, like, we don't need to see the audience. I don't, variety show, like, watch like a late night show, Jimmy Fallon ain't showing that audience. You don't need to be showing that audience. There's a reason they don't show that audience. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it you need to think about why these shows don't do something. And there's a reason. It's sort of like, it sort of feels weird to me. And it's fine. If you want to have like an interplay with a certain person, or if there was some reason to have them there, but it just felt like sort of unrelated, which I don't think worked ultimately. But I overall thought it was good. I know I'm sort of being persnickety about it, but I really did like the Islands on the Stream thing. I really did like Don't Stop Us Now. And I like the Man-Child segment a lot. I just think like there's a lot more you can say with this than you're doing, and by keeping it simple, but you're like sort of oversaying all these other things. And it did feel like you can get all these people to do Muppets, but you should really focus on the few people to make Muppets work. And that's what was so cool about it, is you get a focus on Steve Martin in the Muppets, or Johnny Cash in the Muppets, or whomever. And that was what was so special about it. So remember what the Muppet Show was. And they basically got format-wise, they just sort of overdid it, which is fine. It's the first one. I hope it continues to be more. But I generally like it, and I like that they were respectful of the format. I just hope they understand how to shoot it a little better next time. And don't break the 180 rule. There's a reason we don't break the 180 rule. Anyway. All right. That was a little choppy. I'm sorry. Let's get out of here. Let's do questions. Questions below. What the fuck is going on with YouTube? I never have problems with this fucking site except when we do streams. I don't even know if that's spelled correctly. All right. I'll do Austin's first and then I'll do the Patreon. Austin asked. Did it not? It didn't. Okay, whatever. Okay. Let me go back to this. Oh, cool. It completely crashed. All right. And if anyone wants to do a super chat, this is very much the last chance. All right. Austin asks, question, what do you think the movies, what movies do you think Mike will cover in MST3K? I do think we'll get a big one. I wouldn't be surprised that Easter Bunny thing that I know they're very into is one of them. I think that's a huge possibility. I'm curious if they'll redo things like that. We have a super chat, Super Dusky. Will the Muppets meet Harusa and Miku? Possibly. That'd be a good one. I think that would be a good idea. Cheers to you. And we have another generous thing from William Elman. I'll turn on the Godzilla. Cheers to you, Super Dusky. Let me read William Elman's. As a kid, my favorite Muppet episodes were ones with Edgar Bergen as a guest star. I guess the modern day equivalent would be them having Jeff Dunham on. LOL. I actually think. First off, cheers to you. I think there's a lot of people they could get. I mean, Sabrina Carpenter is a good one. I think they should get like big celebrities for people to check them out at first, and then pick people who just be good for the Muppets. But I think that's the problem with doing variety shows is you sort of can't just get people who'd be good for you. You have to get stars. So I think people who are good at doing that interplay would be best. Okay, I think I have 3 Patreons, and then we'll get to regular one. The saying for what's the best thing you could say a Disney CEO has done? Died. Sinram. No, sorry. I would say not killing the animation department, and that was an Michael Eisner decision. So, even though he did best, he did bring back animation, so you got to give him that. Sinram asks, last week for Movie Crap, you did the special segments before taking the standard restroom break and skipped Obits altogether. I am outraged. Joking, of course. Looking over the questions that I've asked you for previous shows, I don't believe I've asked you about the 21st century trend of saving a film's title card for the end of the movie, which is something that only happened occasionally. That is true prior to 1990. You're right about this. I noticed it, and I'm not. See, the problem is now, did I miss? Then I go, did I miss it? That's what happens. But prior to 1999, Apocalypse Now, RoboCop 2, and Last Action Hero, for example. Nowadays, it's much more common. Once upon a time in Hollywood, The Dark Knight, Man of Steel, Mummy Returns, Paranormal Activity Through, The Ring, your typical MCU flick. I'm not shy about expressing my displeasure about this trend. I'm with you on that. And how unsettled I feel if a new movie won't even display the title itself within the first 15 minutes. Saving most of the head titles for the end is fine, but I want to see that movie title at least. How do you feel about this trend? I don't like it, I agree, and I think it's because Apocalypse Now did it. But Apocalypse Now is like this weird movie, and it's weird when it's like a blockbuster that's not Apocalypse Now. Like if Kong Skull Island did it, I don't remember if they do, it would make sense since it's very Apocalypse Now influenced. I think if you're Apocalypse Now influenced, go for it. But yeah, it does happen too much, and I don't particularly like it. I think you should just have. I actually wish there were opening title sequences. I wouldn't mind an opening credit sequence. I always like those. So I'm not a big fan of it unless it's like a weirder Apocalypse Now type movie. But it's like if you're like an average movie, it's sort of like what the fuck? Like I just don't understand it. So I am not pro that. I'm with you. Marcel Torres, will there be one more Machine movie for Netflix every decade. It seems that way. I was like, oh, we're doing another one. All right. Okay. Good for you. That was a good. Yeah. I was like, didn't I was confused. Some of the I was like, didn't we do this? I actually didn't watch that trailer, but I saw it the trying people trying to get it to me watch it, and I was like, oh, I thought we did this already. It's a different person though. Okay, maybe that's like part of their algorithm. If we do it every 10 years, the next 10 years will be profitable. So expect one in 2035, I guess. Cornbread. With you and the industry analysts lowballing Minecraft before release, despite most mid 20-year-olds and younger calling it success from a distance, and that repeated again with Iron Lung. Do you think I don't? Okay, come on, that's not the same thing. I don't think that's. Do you think analysts don't have their hand on the pulse of the current generation? I agree with that. Okay, first off, if you know how predictions work, I want to preface two things with this. Is Cornbread, I love you, but let me just say this. Part of the problem with this is once you get past like 100 million, it's very hard to predict stuff anyway. So like that in general is very hard to do. So there's that. But I do think like Iron Lung was different in that the advertising was very different. It was very unavailable. But also there's no precedent for Minecraft and video game movies fully yet. So it's sort of like not as um easy to predict. However, I do think we don't really know what's going to happen. But I think Markiplier didn't know what was going to happen. I think the Minecraft people didn't know what was going to happen. I also think their industry, the studio wasn't releasing full numbers because they want you to be surprised because that's a better headline than like, yeah, I mean, we sort of thought it was going to do that. So like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, look what happened to Send Help. We're not talking about that. And that's number one. You know, it's better to be like, well, Markiplier overperformed. So part of it is that I do think, yes, they're not anticipating correctly, but most of the analyst stuff is based on previous successes. And if there's no previous success, there's no way to measure it. But it's also good for the industry to not have that previous success to show that now you can use that to have future successes, which will then become previous successes. So I think it's like sort of a how it works versus that. But I don't think anyone had a number there. But the Markiplier thing I think was a special case. So yeah. Austin, do you think Babu Frick can host the Muppet Show? You know what? Let's do it. Super Dusky. Oh, it froze again. Jesus. Why the Dubloon Hunter? Why did Die Hard go way past Prime? Because they kept doing well, and also sorry about um uh Die Hard 3 was good, and I think that fucked up everything because we were like maybe they'll all be good, and Die Hard 4 did well, so it's just what happens. Favorite bot, Crow or Tom Servo? It's very hard, but Servo and Kevin Murphy. Servo or Baron Vaughn Servo are my favorites. Be Murphy, Vaughn, and then JLS Weinstein. I guess those are only three servos, right? Or I guess Beeper, but Beeper's at the bottom there. Cornbread, should they put Babu Frick into the Muppets? What is with this Babu Frick stuff? Will they like him as a happy putting broccoli in your macaroni thing? No, I don't. We don't need actually Babu Frick and the who is the guy in the wigs one, the shrimpy guy. Him and Babu Frick can do a sketch together. That would be cool. You pull in for the Seahawks or the Patriots this Sunday? I have no fucking clue about any of them. I guess I I'm pulling for the dogs and the puppy. I don't know. I guess I have Massachusetts relatives or I don't know. I'm I'm pulling for me to fall asleep during the after that night. That's what I'm pulling for. Sorry. Whichever one. How about this? Whatever answer you want, Wessonator, you can put that one. You can pretend I said that. Have you ever been to a state fair? Yes, I've been to Maryland. I think I have. I think I've been to the Maryland State Fair, but that was like it was fine. I don't know. It wasn't I don't have a great impression of it. Nathaniel, last week when I asked you about which version of Dark City was better, I didn't hear what you said because of stream freezing, so I just want to know the answer. I'm sorry about that. First off, I haven't really seen the director's cut. I've only seen the theatrical cut, so I'm just going to say the theatrical cut. I would like to see him. I should probably review Dark City. I feel like that's something that needs to happen. It was a big movie for me also, which is funny, before the Gary stuff. So, not plausible. Question: the Empire State Building was lit up in the celebration for the New England Patriots. I know you're not a sports fan, but I thought it was a sacrilege for New York to celebrate a Boston sports team. That's gentrification. That's what that is. No, I don't know. But no, it was. I thought that was weird too. It was like, isn't there? Okay, wouldn't happen in Baltimore. I'll tell you that. Nathaniel Floyd, did you ever see the Muppets ABC show from 2015? A little, and I didn't really. I was more like, hey, give it a chance, but I didn't particularly like the little I've seen of it. I haven't seen much of it. Do you think Cornbread could host the Muppet Show? Yes, but we don't know what Cornbread looks like. So Cornbread could be Sabrina Carpenter. So technically, Cornbread has already hosted the Muppet Show, theoretically. Favorite music video involving the Muppets? There aren't that many, are there? I don't want to say Weezer. Uh, I like when they did Maneater with a shark. That was cool. I'm gonna just say that. Wait, what did Sinram say? Wait, what? Now, what was Sinram saying that to? Not plausible. What's an underrated thing to do or eat in NYC? Um, if you do get Dollar Pizza, get the one near the Colbert Show. I think going through Macy's is more fun on 34th Street than people realize. I think there's a lot more cooler parks than people know about. I'm trying to think what Prospect Park is better than Central Park in my mind. And Museum of Moving Image is really cool. If you like movies, I would fucking do the Museum of Moving Image. It's like the best. It's a great movie museum. They did a great Mission Impossible exhibit. Will we ever see Walter be a part of the Muppets again? Yeah, that was interesting. A lot of people brought up that Walter was just like not involved. I think that was just for the movies. Um, to be honest with you, that seems to be what happened there. Embla T, will why even make friends when you can invest your time in becoming an influencer? You only live once and you're wasting time making friends. What's wrong with people? Jesus. No, you should make friends. Yeah, it's always nice hanging out with friends. Are you thinking of seeing Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie? Do you even remember them? Was it like an old internet website that got an actual TV show? I don't know that show. I would like to see it. I'm not sure. Forget when it comes out. I don't. Maybe we'll see. There's too many things to see. Let me put it that way. Emily T, if this came out later after the pandemic, do you think Netflix would be facing against TikTok and Quibi? I don't think Quibi would have taken off as much. I think it would have hung around more. Embla T, what do you think the amazing AI stuff will get from Lionsgate? Didn't that fall apart? I think it fell apart. William Elman, question: what is the best still standing historic theater in NYC? A lot of them are not standing. Historic, I guess the Paris Theater is it, and that's pretty good actually. I guess Anthology Film Archive and Film Forum. Film Forum's fine. It's like it's more of the culture of it than an actual great screen, to be honest with you. But like if you're into art house, I think it's worth doing it. The seats are not great. I don't like. Was it the? There's a newer one I don't love that much. The I forget the name. Whatever. The Metrograph. Yeah, those seats suck. Anthology Film Archive is probably one of them. But I'd say the Paris Theater. It's very well made. Netflix owns it now, and if you can see a good thing, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but it is a really well run theater. I'd say only that one because the Ziegfeld is gone, and that was like my favorite when it was there. But now it's an event space. Whatever. Cornbread. Question follow up. I'm generalizing, Jim. I know you're not on the same level, but what I'm saying is, you said frequently studios struggle with getting the attention of young people. I do no, I do think they do. And I think that's a problem. And I think there is a real concern among analysts that Sony just the industry let Sony take anime, and that's a concern considering how much young people are into that. And they don't see a possible future with that. I do think their biggest problem now is sort of thinking these franchises when young people go to them are enough, but they need to get on those things. But it's sort of a weird thing because I noticed like I said something under Movie Bob's thing about like I do think like the millennials are going to be worse than the boomers about nostalgia and stuff like that. But I think like if we look at what happened with Demon Slayer and Gen Z, that shows that they are hungry for something that's outside of that. And all of them yelled at me for they're like, well, anime's not. Everyone says it's going to take over, but it's not. And I'm like, that's not Okay. I do think the young people will, and their kind of stuff is taking over, but I think they're gonna have to figure that out because they're really not doing a good enough job, and there is a majority of people who see movies, and they need to figure that out, and they could do it cheaper. Are we expecting Markiplier to pop up in mainstream stuff like Markiplier starring in a Steven Soderbergh movie or something? I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm surprised he did. Did he not have a thing in Five Nights at Freddy's because he's associated with it? I was a little surprised by that. Nathaniel Fogo, would you want to see Lucas Till appear on the Muppets? Yes, and get Creech in there. Um. Uh. Wait, are we? Land of Confusion. Okay. Next YouTuber turned director. I have no clue. Saber, I guess. Uh, what is? What did you mean for sinners? Wait, you said cornbread for sinners? I thought you said Muppet Show. What are we talking about here? What? You said the Muppet Show. I'm lost on what that is. Okay, I'll just answer questions. It's too late for me. Why is this girl pointing at stuff in this? Okay. Embla T. Well, not really, but check out Resurrection by Gone. It's a movie that travels time through filmmaking eras, like you started from Silence, your expression tomorrow. Oh, that sounds cool. Okay, I will. Resurrection. I'm gonna copy that. Put it in my. I have a list of movies I need to see. Where are we? That sounds cool. I'm just gonna put it where. Okay, right under Invaders from Mars. Thank you. Okay, all right. Sorry, that sounded cool. Are we winning? I don't know. Why are people hating on Wuthering Heights? It's not. It's got everything like stuff. Asking for friends. I'll read the book now. I don't know if it's the most literal translation, and there was a British one in the early 2010s that was pretty good. So I'm a little confused. We'll see. Are we preparing next week's Wuthering Goat? We'll see. He had to turn it down to work on Iron Lung. I didn't know that. Cornbread from Sinners. Oh, sorry. He should do it too. Sorry, I missed that. You can understand my confusion though. He could host it too. Michael B. Jordan could host the Muppet Show. Although I heard it's harder if the person's taller, and I think he's tall, right? I don't know. I think you could get like some Marvel people. You could get all sorts of Disney people. So we'll see. Anyway, all right. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for the super chats tonight. Let me say thank you to. Um, and I'm not gonna cut. I'm gonna let the stream go until it ends. I kept because I'm always pretty tired at the end, shutting down the OBS and stuff. And I'm gonna just let it play out. That's my fault that this kept happening. Except for the chat disappearing, that is YouTube. I don't do the unlisting thing anymore, so that's not on me. Don't. Okay, we have Black Saxwinkle, Javier Bartelo, Nattenbach64, William Ellman, Austin, Sinram, William Ellman, Austin, Sinram, Emblood T, William Ellman, Della Butterfly, Sinram, Super Dusky, and William Ellman. Thank you all very much for your contributions there. Cheers to you. Oh, which Michael B. Jordan? Both of them. Favorite Red Hot Chili Pepper song? You know, I actually like the Warped album a little. And I like the first song on Warped, whatever that is. I don't know. I've never gotten the hate for them, to be honest with you. I don't love them, but Camille would be good, but I don't really get the hate necessarily. But anyway, all right. Thank you. Okay. Man, I got through the whole thing of that season. All right. Good night. I think there'll be something tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Hopefully it won't. We'll have one without as many things. Let's all give a big shout out to Sinram for doing the timestamp. Sorry if I'm a little punchy at the end there. I hope the Muppet segment was good. I don't think that'll be the video tomorrow. There'll be a Super Bowl related. I don't know if you can guess it, but I hope you enjoyed the videos this weekend. I hope you have a good Super Bowl. Hope you see something cool. I will see you all next time. Have a good night. Peace out, and see you later. All right. Bye.